Hey guys, this is Ziggmiceter,
And the Pikachu Project 911.
and welcome to the first episode of the Professor's Lab. And today we're going to be going over the Dragon Blade and Dragon sets and Dragon selection. We're not gonna talk about every card, but we're gonna talk about cards that we think are worth noting. So, just going down the list on Pokebeach. Um,
Yeah.
First one that I think is worth noting is Ninjask. Its ability says that once during your turn, when you play the Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon and your bench isn't full, you may switch your deck for a Shedinja and put it on your bench as a basic Pokemon. Um, I've always really wanted to make a Shedinja deck because it gives up no prizes, so that would be pretty cool. But it only has 60 HP, so that's the downside.
Yeah, it's basically catcher bait.
Yeah.
The next one worth noting really is just Ho-Oh EX because it's an EX card. Its ability is Phoenix. This ability card can be used one time during your turn. If this card is in your discard pile, flip one coin. If heads, attach three different basic energy cards to this Pokemon and play it on your bench. It's basically like a revive ability, but its attack isn't that good, so it's not a good playable card. Its attack is Rainbow Burn, 20 damage plus, does 20 damage for each different type of basic energy attached to this Pokemon. So it can only do a maximum, usually of
Like,
uh,
pro-
60.
yeah, probably 60 or 70. People have been trying to get lists of this working on not Poke Beach, Six Prizes. Um, but it's really not that playable. It's not going to see play.
Yeah.
Um, the next card is Milotic. I like this card. For a water energy, uh, you search you search your deck for three cards and put them in your hand, and then its attack does 60 damage and it puts them asleep for a water and a DC. Um, it's good, but turn to set up as an attack still isn't playable. 110
Yeah.
HP is decent for a stage one, but otherwise it's okay.
There's only one problem with that as well. Feebas only has 30 HP.
Yeah,
To be taken out with an easy attack.
yeah.
The next card worth noting is probably Shedinja. Its ability is Empty Shell. When this Pokemon is knocked out, your opponent doesn't take any prizes, which is good. You can use Ninjask with it, but it's only 60 HP again,
And
and
its attack isn't that great either.
yeah, so
Also, there was two cards that I thought were also worth kind of noting. The Walrein, it has 140 HP and its attack Ice Stab does 60 damage and the defending Pokemon is paralyzed and you can't use the attack again the next turn. I mean, if you could fit it into a Vanillux Slippery Souls deck, but Stage 2 is not that great. Also, the Manectric. Actually, there's still two more. Um, the Manectric, Energy Crush, 20 times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. That's really good. Nothing really else to say there.
mm,
Um, Also, the Emolga too. Um, it's one of the better set of Pokemon. It reminds me of the Pichu HS, except it's a little better. For colorless, Call for Family searches your deck for two basic Pokemon and puts them onto your bench. Um, so that's pretty good turn one.
yeah. The next card probably worth noting is Gothitelle. Its attack for a Psychic Energy and a Colorless Energy. You have to flip two coins. If both of them are heads, the defending Pokemon is knocked out. you have like a, I would like to say like 25% chance of getting this. So if you're like a coin flipper or something like that, with Victini deck too, this could be thrown in. That would be good with it. And Black Magic for a psychic and another colorless with it. It does 40 plus 20 more damage for each of your opponent's fetch Pokemon. It does 20 damage to each opponent's fetch Pokemon.
No, it does 20 damage for each benchman Pokemon. So that maxes out at
Yeah.
what? 100.
Uh,
Yeah,
140.
106. Yeah, 140. Yeah. Um, I mean, I think Death Sentence actually has with Fliptini, it has a 50% chance.
Yeah. Good bet. But
Yeah.
alone it has about a 25%.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, next card. Let's see, down. For a while, there's really nothing. Oh, Throw. For fighting in a DCE, Constrict does 40 plus damage, and you flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage, and the defending Pokemon is now paralyzed. Again, it's it's a flippy card, only one flip this time. Uh, Paralyzation. The problem is it only does 60 damage. I don't know if this is going to see play. It has 100 HP, so that's nice, I guess. It's weak to Psychic and 3
Yeah.
Retreat, which means it can be searched by Heavy Ball. It's nice, but I don't know if it'll see play.
But it can be basically one-shotted by Mewtwo, which isn't
Yeah.
good. I don't think Gun Tank is worth really noting. Um, Registeel EX. Uh, this is a decent EX for sniping, like Tynamos. That's good for hitting bench basics.
Hmm.
Its attack is triple laser for 3 colorless energies. This attack does 30 damage to each of them. That's pretty good. And for 2 metal and 2 colorless, this is project charge. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon receives 20 less damage from attacks. So that's pretty good. I would say it's a defensive Pokemon, but Reshiram might come back eventually.
Yeah.
So we might have an issue with that as well.
I feel like actually Rayquaza Boar might be stronger than Rayquaza Eels just because it doesn't Rayquaza doesn't have to be on the bench, and even though it has uh one retreat, and it can be retreated through Skyro, that's still a problem. So I don't know how much play Rayquaza Eels will see.
Yeah.
Um, Registeel EX, it could be, it's good in a Kyurem spread deck, cause instead of having to charge two water and a colorless is 3 colorless, and it does exactly half of what a Glaciate does. So that's okay.
Yeah. Same with that. The next card probably worth noting is,
Altaria.
yeah. Its ability is Battle Song. As long as this Pokemon is in play, your Dragon-type Pokemon's attack do an additional 20 damage to any active Pokemon. Um, it is good, but it has a low HP and it's a stage 1. If it had a higher HP, which I think it really should, and if it wasn't so slow in the meta right now, it would be a decent card.
Yeah, but our Altaria Garchomp has been winning a lot in Japan, so we'll just have to see how it goes. Um,
Yeah.
I really wish they gave it like 100 or not 100, 90, at least 90 HP, cuz I mean, Altaria in the games is not that bulky, but it's still kind of bulky, and it can run a bulky set. So I don't know. The next card is Rayquaza EX. Um, Its first attack for a colorless discards the top three cards of your deck, and if there are any energy cards, attach them to this Pokemon. And and that's not that great, but its attack is amazing. For a fire and a lightning, it does 60 times damage. Discard either all basic fire or lightning energy cards attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage times the number of energy discarded in this way. So in my opinion, it's just a better Magnezone Prime, and that won Worlds last year, just to compare how great it is. But back then, decks were slower, um,
Yeah.
so we'll see how much play this gets.
Okay. We may have to split this episode up into two parts because it's gonna be a little bit longer.
Yeah, one
But
part could be like Dragon Blade, and the second part will be Dragon Blast. So yeah,
yeah, probably maybe the last card is Garchomp. Uh, for one fighting energy, it does 60 damage and discard a special energy attached to the defending Pokemon. And its second attack for a water and fighting energy does 100 damage and discard the top two cards of your deck. The one problem with this deck is obviously it's a stage 2. Stage 2s are way too slow right now. Stage 1s are okay, but stage 2s are just too slow. Um,
I
the
mean,
attacks are good, but
yeah, it's a good. I mean, it's a good deck, but the problem is, uh, it's been winning in Japan. But the problem about Japan is that Stunfisk was in a winning deck there, so you don't. Well, the new Fisk that's in the set, but still, you don't really know if it's gonna be do well in here because Tornadus EX Aerodactyl was also winning over there, and it's not winning here. So we'll just have to see.
yeah.
Um, I just kind of want to note this one. Slacking. Oh my God, Nintendo. I understand that Slacking's ability in game is truant, but that doesn't mean you make one of the worst abilities for the meta right now. Its ability says
Yeah.
that if if the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, this Pokemon just can't attack, and that's just horrible. I mean, its attack would be decent if it didn't have the ability, but it still wouldn't see competitive play without the ability, and it's just stupid.
Yeah. The ability just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Um, Bulbasaur is probably the next card worth noting. Its ability is Afro Guard. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage, which could be okay, but probably not since it only has 100 HP. But it is good HP for a basic that's not like a powerful Pokemon. And its attack is called Golden Break. It does 60 plus damage if the defending Pokemon is a Pokemon EX. This attack does 60 more damage, which is pretty good, I would have to say myself.
Yeah. I mean, 100 damage or 120 damage isn't overwhelming for EXs that have well, right now I guess Shaman EX and Mew EX will be OHKO'd by this, but otherwise the rest of the EXs get 2-hit KO'd by it. So I don't
Yeah.
know. The next couple of things are Tool Scrapper, Large Cloak, and Blend Energy, Water, Lightning, Fighting, and Metal. Um, Tool Scrapper discards up to 2 tools attached to either player's Pokemon, then discards them. Um, that will definitely see play. Uh, Nothing really else to say about
Um,
it.
Large Cloak. The maximum HP of this Pokemon card this is attached to increases by 20. So, say a Darkrai, I believe, has 180 HP.
Yeah.
It could be 170. but I believe it's 180. It would go up to 200, which makes it even harder to knock it out.
Yeah. We actually have to cut the video right now because we're actually just at the 15-minute mark. So we'll be back for the Dragon Blast set and finish up with the shinies of this set too. Okay, view the next part in the description. Bye.